Below is a list of the 15 most intelligent animals on Earth that have the potential to be pets. I kid you not. Raccoons. If George Clooney or Ben Stiller, or for that fact any major actor in a heist movie had acquired the services of a raccoon, things would have gone quite smoothly, but the movie would have ended pretty quickly. Why? Because these little critters are intelligent enough to and can pick locks. In a bizarre 1908 study by ethologist H.B. David, raccoons were able to pick complex locks in less than 10 attempts. You'd be surprised to know that even after the lock was flipped upside down or rearranged, they were still able to pick them. Various studies dating to the 60s and the 90s concluded that raccoons have an incredible memory. They can even recall solutions to tasks for up to 3 years. Pigs. I'm going to tell you something. It's probably the last thing you were expecting to hear, but a 2015 paper from the International Journal of Comparative Psychology states that pigs too are a man's best friend. Some food lovers are probably thinking, yes, best meal too. But like dogs, pigs can understand emotions, empathize, solve mazes, learn simple symbolic languages, and, if you hadn't guessed, make the best of friends. They are much smarter than they get credit for. Squirrels. Who would have thought that a squirrel could be one of the world's 15 most intelligent animals? A squirrel's intelligence is so profound that on the show Rick and Morty, squirrels were seen to have a secret society. But of course that was just for fun. Or was it? According to a Princeton University study, gray squirrels are so intelligent that they are capable of remembering where thousands of nuts are buried for months at a time. Maybe what Pablo Escobar really needed was a squirrel as opposed to an accountant. Crows. Crows, like most birds, are known for their ability to distinguish between predators as well as other species. However, what you may not have known is that they also understand basic physics. It is because of this understanding of basic physics that they can change entire migration patterns to avoid farms where crows have been killed in the past, and may even carve into their memory the city garbage routes so they can snag the inevitable food droppings on trash day. They are calm, clever, cool, calculating, conniving, and known to harbor a solid grudge. They are definitely one of the 15 smartest animals in the world, let alone the sky. Octopus. Octopi, yes, even I didn't know that the plural of octopus was octopi, are known as the prison break kings or queens of the sea. They can slip through cracks, open a lid, you name it. Otto, a German aquarium octopus, was even known to hurl rocks at the aquarium's glass and spray water at overhead lamps to short-circuit the annoyingly bright lights on more than one occasion. They can assemble shelters from coconut shells, which is nature's penchant for innovation on display. Dolphins. Because dolphins have a high brain-to-body ratio size, they are capable of showcasing emotion and can, as some report, mimic humans. They are known as one of the smartest animals on the planet, second only to humans. And hey, that might be debatable. We humans do some pretty stupid stuff. Institute for Marine Mammal Studies in Mississippi suggests dolphins may also be the second clever or sneakiest or cheeky devil animals, whichever is your choice phrase, on Earth. Now, I'm going to quote you an incident that will knock your socks off. Dolphins at the Institute were trained to pick up litter in their tanks and exchange them for fish with the trainers. But one Lex Luthor-like dolphin named Kelly discovered a way to cheat the whole system. She hid litter under a rock in her tank and then secretly tore single sheets of discarded paper into multiple pieces, then turned them in individually to maximize her reward. No litter was exchanged, but she got more than her fair share of fish. Bees. Probably the most fun thing you'll hear today. I'm going to tell you right away. Are you ready? Bees hold dance-offs. Okay, now let's talk about the nitty-gritty. Honeybees have evolved what scientists describe as swarm intelligence, with an average of 50,000 workers in a single colony that come together like Aerosmith preachers and, get this, make democratic decisions. Banana republics ought to learn a thing or two from bees. When a hive becomes overcrowded during spring, colonies then send out scouts on the lookout for a new home. If there's a disagreement on where the colony should build its next hive, the bees argue in what some might term as a civilized manner of discourse, a dance-off. The formula or equation for winning is the greater the waggle, the greater the likelihood of winning over bees. Elephants. Traditionally, people make fun of fat people by saying elephants never forget. That's because it's the 100% truth. They can recall specific routes to watering holes over vast stretches of land and for many years. And stands to reason that they would never forget a friend either. In 1999, at the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee, an elephant named Shirley arrived. Upon arrival, another resident elephant by the name of Jenny became overjoyed and playful. Upon further investigation, it was discovered that both Jenny and Shirley had some time together at a circus nearly 22 years ago. Chickens. Although chickens have a reputation for being not too smart, and the fact that their brains are practically the size of raisins, they are actually very smart. That's probably something you didn't expect to hear today. In fact, they can tell the difference between certain shapes and colors. According to Melissa Coy, author of How to Speak Chicken and A Kid's Guide to Keeping Chickens, using a clicker, a chicken was taught to peck at one of 4 different shapes, such as a circle, square, triangle, and rectangle. Chickens in one study could always peck at their designated shape out of the grouping, regardless of how the shapes were arranged in front of them. They wouldn't peck any other shape, even if the shape originally designated for them was removed. Rats. By the number of times we experiment on rats, I'm surprised that there isn't a Planet of the Rats film. They ought to be the smartest animals on the planet because of how much and how long we've been experimenting on them. But what you probably hadn't considered is the fact that we experiment on them because they're smart. Memorizing route and problem-solving skills off the charts, in spite of their small brains, is the reason they are prime test subjects. Equally impressive, a Harvard Business Review study found that even though the rat brain is smaller and less complex than the human brain, research has shown that the two are remarkably similar in structure and function. There you go, a Harvard-certified research on how similar we are to rats. Pigeons. Another animal of whose intelligence you have the opposite impression of is the infamous pigeon. Pigeons, despite their hilariously clumsy walk or waddle and apparently blank stares, are not as stupid as you think. In a thorough and intricate German study, in front of a sample of pigeons were showcased 725 random black and white images individually. It was no more coincidence that these pigeons were able to identify and differentiate between each of those photos. African grey parrot. You would think that a parrot, especially an African grey's intellectual capacity, would be limited to mimicking humans, but they can solve complex problems and puzzles. Life Science reports that these parrots are as smart as 3-year-old children. They are able to deduce where to search for a food reward or treat, even with the absence of clues. This is an ability thought to be in the sole possession of man and apes, but now it indicates a sense of awareness of causality among these parrots. Portia spiders. In spite of their lack of an actual threat to humans, the scale of intelligence of these spiders is going to burst your arachnophobia meter. Native to Southeast Asia, parts of Africa, and northern Australia, their hunting tactics show clear-cut indication and proof of problem-solving abilities. The best way an economist would describe it is that they use game theory. They weigh the pros and cons of a tactic. If it fails, they deliberate and move on to the next choice. Because of their skillful, intelligence-driven hunting, they've earned the title of the 8-legged cat. Dogs. We now come to my favorite animal, almost everyone's favorite animal. Not only are they the most adorable creatures on the planet, but they're also super smart and occasionally cheeky. That's right, folks, it's the dog, not the cat. They have emotions, they empathize, they can learn tricks, they never forget their owners, they can sense if someone is happy, distraught, sad, or even angry or afraid. According to Life Science, they're as smart as a 2-year-old child. Chimpanzees. Not surprisingly, chimpanzees are one of the closest genetic relatives of human beings, making them one of the smartest animals on the planet. Like humans, they inherit several genotypes from their mother, including their intelligence. According to National Geographic, they can learn sign language, learn to differentiate between shapes, and even mourn the death of a loved one. Chimps have been known to be smart enough to make their life a little easier. They'll make little tools out of twigs to open fruits or crack a nut. They'll even go as far as to fashion spears to hunt smaller prey and to dig for termites from long, thick branches. With that, this video comes to a close. I hope you learned something and perhaps came out of it with a larger appreciation of animals and their intelligence. Remember, every animal you see isn't some crazed behemoth waiting to charge you. Give the creature the benefit of the doubt and marvel at its beauty by assuming what's going through their head. Please leave a comment below and we'll be sure to respond. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to never miss an update from us.